Hello and welcome back to another Warhammer the Old World Battle Report. Today I'm running High Elves against the army of Grand Cathay, although actually it's the Jade Fleet list. So to go over my opponent's list quickly, she has Miao Ying, a unit of Jade Warriors, a unit of Jade Lancers with a Empire Priest of Ulrich with the twice blessed armor, only Empire Mercenary, but well worth it. Two cannons, a Shugungan Lord with the Jade Blade, so the regen, and then a little unit of Jade Lancers with the magic missile ring that they got. I have a Prince Lore Master with a Sword of Hoeth and a bunch of defensive items, a level 4 Archmage on Illusion Magic with Lore Familiar, Sword of Hoeth, defensive items, so going for Spectral Doppelganger, and then another a Noble Battle Standard Bearer, also a Lore Master, also defensive items. So the two level ones have taken Battle Magic. The Prince got Arcane Urgency, and the BSB switched to Hammerhand, and then yeah. Then I have a big unit of 27 Seaguard with the Razor Standard, a unit of Illyrian Rivers, and then two Tyrannok Chariots and two Skycutters. So they're paired up on each side, hiding from the cannons, and we're just playing a pitched battle, no scenario. Because my opponent hasn't played very many games of Old World. So yeah, I mean, the thought here is the Seaguard, the Swordmasters have drilled a bunch of combat characters, wanted to see if they could do something with this new, more infantry-focused game. And the other thing is, I still think you need a few fast pieces to go out there. Heavy Chariots are nice because they're strength 5. The Illyrian Weavers are a core unit. So are the Seaguard, who will hopefully survive. So I went first and just... Did I go first? Yeah. Just pushed some things. Pushed chariots trying to stay sort of safe from cannons by either hiding behind hills or mountains. The Swordmasters marched and maybe had Arcane Urgency cast on them. I think they just marched with Arcane Urgency, and I didn't use Drilled because I didn't want to risk failing it and being caught in the marching column. Up to the hill, I could have gotten closer, but I didn't want to get in a position like I'm just potentially going to get triple charged if I get too much closer. So they're just in a spot where I'm hoping that they can threaten things and maybe get the +1 combat bonus for being on the hill. And then my Seaguard just stood still. I missed the picture of the Cathay turn 1, but they pushed the Lancers forward a bit. Miao Ying transformed into human, joined the Jade Lancers, or the Jade Warriors, and the Shugungan Lord pushed forward a little bit as well. And then a bunch of magic missiles from, mostly, I guess, just from Miao Ying, went into the Swordmasters and killed a few of them. The cannons killed one Tyrannok Chariot, and then where else did they go? I think they just... they didn't use the ogre loaders didn't get used up, so just single shots. One killed the chariot. I can't remember where the other one went. It maybe didn't have an angle to these two chariots, so just went into the Seaguard and killed a couple more. Oh, and so then it was my turn. And my chariot, I just tried to avoid the fast things, so my chariot went behind the Shugungan general to threaten the cannons. The other Skycutter and the Tyrannok Chariot did the same, just out of arc of the Jade Lancers. And then I tried to charge the Jade Warriors with the Swordmasters, but because I had gotten wind blasted back. I failed the charge, so they just went for it a little bit. And the Reavers just moved up to threaten a charge into the cannon as well. The Shigangan General, and the Sea Guard had shot at the Shigangan General and did a couple wounds. The General charged in, took 2 more wounds on the stand and shoot, and then killed a fair number, but I think we ended up, with my static combat res, I think we ended up tying. And the Musician, I won. And then the General rolled an 11 on their break test and fled, rolled low on the flee, and then the the Sea Guard actually caught the General and killed him, so that was very lucky. Yeah, the General died. The cavalry unit showed up from ambush, cast a magic missile, and this Skycutter did some damage. Cannon left the other Skycutter at 1 wound. This cannon grape shotted the Reavers and reduced them to just 1 left. Miao Ying turned back into a dragon. The Jade Lancers turned to see the rest of my army. I think some more magic missiles went into the Sea Guard, or into the Swordmasters, and depleted them even further. Yeah. So, this turned went fairly well. The stand and shoot from the Ogre Loader didn't manage to kill the Skycutter, and I also charged in with the Valerian Reaver as well. And then they managed to wipe out the cannon, run them down, and end up over here. The other cannon, I think, did kill the Skycutter. Yes, I think the 1 Skycutter did die to the stand and shoot, but then the Chernarch Chariot rolled a 6 for the number of impact hits and killed the chariot, the other cannon. And then my Swordmasters, with my 3 characters, finally got into combat and did just dismally poor. Like, I think they killed maybe 3 Jade Warriors. I think I miscast with the Archmage, who then did an explosion and killed a couple Jade Warriors and a few Swordmasters, but didn't get to cast with Doppelganger. So I think Miao Ying denied all 3 of the Hammer Hands I went to cast, because also all of my characters and the champ had Rings of Fury. So I was looking for a whole bunch of Hammer Hands, none of which went off. So I think they gave ground, I think. So I thought my 1,000 point unit might do a bit more damage than that, but they did not. They forced some infantry to give ground. So what happens then is the Jade Lancers charge into the flank. They get Plague of Rust cast on them, but they do have Glittering Orb up, which is thankful, because that's really saving them. This combat goes... I think this was after the Lancers had gone. I think that yes. So the Lancers went, killed some, not too many, thanks to Glittering Robe. I put a few attacks into the Jade Warriors and killed some as well. But then when the Jade Warriors swung, they killed off the last 2 Sea Guard, or Swordmasters, which left me just with the 3 characters, which was interesting, because I believe that they then each take a break test separately and each flee separately from the Jade Lancers, who are bigger. So they ended up sort of over here. The mage was the slowest. They all just... they fell back in good order, but could they have fallen back in good order because they were outnumbered? Maybe he gave ground? I'm not sure. No, I think he rolled. Anyways. I may have messed it up. He maybe should have died right here, because he couldn't have fallen back in good order. Is that how that works? So anyways, we played where he was caught, so they are now back into combat. These guys rallied automatically. Although perhaps they shouldn't have if I messed that up. And Miao Ying had moved forward. She had Massive Mirage cast on her, so she wasn't able to charge. So she just came up and threw some more magic missiles at my Seaguard. I think maybe killed a couple. These Lancers were trying to magic missile the Reaver and failing. So the 2 chariots and the 3 characters and the Reaver champ all go into the Jade Warriors, kill a few, make them fall back in good order through the Lancers, and then again, because there's a bunch of individuals all following up, we sort of thought that they could all, all going directly over would impact the Lancers. So the 2 chariots and 2 of the characters made it in. These other 2 couldn't because their way was blocked, and the Warriors have rallied behind the, not rallied, but formed up behind the Lancers off of fall back in good order. Let's save the board. Miao Ying turns back into a human and I think uses magic missiles to kill the Battle Standard Bearer. This fight doesn't go well. The Mothran Skycutter is killed, I think, by the Warrior Priest. The 1 chariot flees. The other mage flees. The prince rolls double 1s and decides to hold against the Jade Lancers and give his friends time to escape. Jade Warriors rally and move around. Is a blurry picture of my prince. Better picture. The prince then, though, loses combat, flees. The Jade Lancers can't catch him because Miao Ying's in the way. But then, basically, on the next turn, Lancers charge into the. Yeah, see, that probably would have been. Anyways, it's basically over for the Elves at that point. I think he could have charged. Miao Ying could have just declared charge on the prince, and then he would have had to have fled and been caught. Yeah, so Miao Ying was unhurt. I did manage to land a killing blow. I think the prince I think it was actually the wizard with his normal attacks, the archmage, managed to land a killing blow because he's the only Warden of Hoeth. Killing blow the priest, the warrior priest, so that was cool. But that was the only moral victory because otherwise pretty sound trouncing of the High Elves. Lost all my characters. Really only have the Seaguard left. And they have lost their cannons and a couple, and the Shikangan Lord, I guess, which was a lucky break for me. That shouldn't have really happened. So yeah, fun game against Cathay. Fun to play against them. I have played them myself a few times. And then, yeah, trying out High Elves with a dragon. They just don't have the combat power to really do it. So anyways, thanks for watching and see you at the next one. And I might try, I have a thought. So there might be a remix of this battle report coming shortly. Okay, thanks, bye.